right, this is the next card that we're going to make. So the technique for this one is similar to the last card, as in we're going to put the paste on and we're going to put some embossing powders on. The difference being, for this one here, I used metallic embossing powder, and for this one here I'm using some distress embossing glaze. And the embossing glazes are completely clear but colored, so it looks like glass, or in this case water. I'm also going to be using some frosted crystal for the white parts on the waves, and frosted crystal doesn't emboss completely clear and shiny. It's got a frosty granular texture, which I thought was going to be perfect for the foam on the waves. So let's get this started. So secure your paper in place, but I want to make sure that I don't have that in the way of one of my waves. So I'm going to put my stencil where I want it to be. And I'm making this so that most of it is the wave image. And now let's put some paste in there. And I'm quite liberal with the paste for the first layer, because like I've done before, I'm taking all the excess off and putting it back in the container. But I want to make sure to get it into all of the nooks and crannies and make sure that I haven't missed anything. I see a little section there that's missed. And it's pretty easy to see if you've missed a section. Put this all back in and close it. Lift this up, put it in my water. Take this guy off here and take the tape off. You could leave the tape off on and use it as a handle if you wanted, but it's easy enough to take it right off. It's just like a Post-it note, so it's not very strong adhesive. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is use my frosted crystal. I'm going to use my Slurpee straw that I used for the last card. You could even, if you wanted, use like a tiny spoon. And for this one I used a white base for the texture paste, but you could use, say, like a sky color, a light gray or something that's not going to compete with the wave colors, but something that will make that white show a little bit more. Just going to make sure that's closed so that I don't accidentally get any of the glaze colors in there. So I'm going to work from light to dark pretty much. I want the light parts right in that crest of the wave where the sun would be shining through the water. I'm kind of putting the colors in similar spots for each wave. However, I will spread a little bit of each of the colors throughout that bottom water part there. And I am trying to save some of these dark parts behind the, some of these parts behind the wave to make them darker. Really, no matter how you do it, it's going to look good. I don't want to put too much of the dark color in there because I don't want to end up being super, super dark. I'm going to fill in a little bit with some of these lighter ones. All right, now let's, same as before, I'm going to tap the bottom to let the powder hit any of the texture paste that might not already be covered, and we're good. So once again, I have a little container for my mix. This one I tend to do watercolor mixes, and one day I will be using them for a bunch of different water things. I do have another mix jar that I have for other colors that, yeah, because you'd never be able to get them back into the same containers again. So I'm just going to close these up, and same as last time, I'm going to use my heat gun to emboss it, because for this particular image I think it would be cool if some of it was puffed up and some not. If you chose an image that you didn't want any of it puffed up, you don't have to. You can wait till it's completely dried and then do your embossing. And just like before, you can see where it's embossed and where it's not, because where it's embossed it goes clear and shiny, and where it's not, it's matte and it's textured. A little bit harder to see the frosted crystal embossed, but you can, it does change. You just have to pay attention. Done. So just like the molten metal one before, I do need to let this set aside to dry and dry completely before gluing it to the front of my card. Otherwise I risk pushing the wet embossing or the wet texture paste underneath around and ruining my image. So definitely wait for this to completely dry, and then all I did was add a little sentiment to it. This one I wish I had one that said make waves, because I think that would have been really appropriate, but the Bon Voyage works as well. So there we go, another card done. We'll see you in the next video.